at is, from a user's perspective, a corporate RM. And this corporate RM manages many corporate relationships, and he uses CRM on a daily basis for effective customer management. Now, as soon as he logs into the CRM solution, the first thing he looks at is his dashboard, which basically gives to him a list of all the open activities that he is supposed to work on, the appointments he needs to attend to, the tasks that he needs to perform, the phone calls that he needs to make, along with the due dates. He's also given a view of his sales pipeline, the next best actions, the next best conversations that he can have with his customers. On this dashboard, he's basically looking at his appointment list, and he notices that there's a new appointment that he needs to attend to. He clicks on it to find out the details of what appointment this is about. On the appointment screen, he's able to see that this is an appointment for a customer called Large Corp, and he's also able to see the scheduling information, the objective, the agenda, and the product line account team members or the coverage attendees from his side, from the bank side, who are invited to this meeting to support him during the discussions. So as part of the meeting preparation, what the RM will do is he will open up the Large Corp customers 360 view. Why? In order for him to go through this and understand what kind of relationship this customer has with us, with the bank, and be able to gather some key talking points before going to the meeting. So this screen is basically bringing up the 360 view of the large corporate customer. The idea and the philosophy is that this screen should basically be a screen from where RMs are not only able to look at information available, but also be able to take actions. So when I look at this as an RM, what products this particular customer has, I look at all the blue tick boxes which indicate that these are the products the customer's already taken from us, and the red ones are not yet. So this is a good cross-sell upsell discussion for me. The channel subscription area. The next best conversation that I can have with this customer at any given point in time. The financial indicators, the visual indicators. Anything green is okay, anything red is cause for concern. For example, this particular indicator tells the RM that an annual review is coming up. Or for example, he's overstepped on an existing limit, or he's underutilized one of the limits. Some key notes that he might have captured based on his previous discussion. Some key alerts and notifications that might call for action. The other information is around which group this particular customer belongs to. What are the deposits and utilization information? A bit about who are the account team members or the coverage team attendees from the bank, from different product lines that support the RM for discussions. Who are the authorized callers on the customer side, who are authorized to transact with the bank on different product lines. Some other information around the profile about the company, who the shareholders of the company, the related parties of the company. And more about open sales opportunities that we are, as the bank is following up with this particular company. A list of all eligible products that the customer can be targeted for based on propensity. A list of all campaigns that this particular customer can be targeted for. If I want to look at the products and the utilizations, the overall banking relationships that this particular customer has with us, I go into the products area. Based on the relationship type in different product lines, I'm able to figure out what kind of volumes, pipelines, targets are currently on this relationship. More about limits and utilizations. Which facilities have been extended? What's the total overall limit? what is utilized and what is available for utilization. For example, if I want to look at more details about the cash management product, I drill down into the details of the cash management product itself, which will bring to me information around the different products under this particular umbrella and the available balances brought in from the core banking system in real time. Moving on, if I want to have a look at the hierarchy of the company and the financials of the company, how is the company hierarchy structured? Does it belong to a parent group? Are there subsidiaries under it? Who are the individual RMs who are managing these relationships? Visually represented as well in terms of the company, the parent, the main company, the suppliers, the buyers, and so on. The company financials, the company collaterals. In terms of financials, these the financial ratios as well. And then on the services tab, I have information around what are the open service requests or complaints that this particular company might have submitted to the bank, what topic of those service requests, when they were created, where it is currently in, what is the expected resolution time, and who is the owner of that particular service request, so that I can follow up with that team for faster resolution. Key alerts in terms of compliance as an example. Another important aspect of the 360 is the interactions, where I get to see all the interactions that the bank has had with the customer in the past in terms of documenting them in the call reports. And interaction timeline shows you all the interactions in a timeline format, the appointments, the phone calls, the meetings, and so on. For example, let me show you a quick view of how a call report would look like. As an RM, if I go to meet this particular customer and after the discussion is done, I want to capture the minutes of meeting and I want to capture the next steps or the follow-up actions, I can capture them in a call report. The details of the meeting, who the client was, when was the meeting conducted, where was it conducted, the details of the minutes of meeting, in terms of who are the account team members or coverage attendees who attended the meeting along with me, who are the client attendees who attended the meeting, and detailed meeting minutes in terms of in a rich text format where you can write all detailed meeting minutes. And of course, the follow-up tasks. What were the follow-up action items that came out of that meeting? Create them and assign ownership and assign due date. Any requests that the client asked for, any sales opportunities or any referrals or any pricing discount requests that the client asked for. All of this captured in the call report and then submitted for approval. And once the call report is approved, it then becomes part of the record within the corporate 360. So that's basically an overview of the information available on a corporate 360. Not only is information available, but of course you also have the ability to take call to actions like create an appointment, create a call report, capture a sales opportunity, capture a service request or a complaint. All of this made possible from one single screen, which is the single view of a corporate customer.
Now, this is basically a scenario that addresses the pain point where if you have your corporate customers who are requesting for establishing a new relationship with the bank, how can the bank RMs use dynamics in the branches and initiate corporate in-branch onboarding process? So it basically is a process where your RMs could initiate a corporate enrollment application form from Dynamics, start to capture the company details, capture directors, shareholders, guarantors information, then proceed to perform a variety of system checks on the application in terms of internal checks, domestic blacklist checks, anti-money laundering checks, credit bureau checks, and proceed with obtaining the necessary approvals from the compliance department if there are any records found. And if all these checks are passed and necessary approvals are obtained, the RMs can proceed to then do a detailed data entry, initiate KYC on the application, and then request for product selection, basically listing all the products that the corporate customer is interested in, printing the contract documents, getting the physical signatures on them, proceed to uploading them directly on the document management system, confirming the details captured on the application, and then proceeding with generating the account by through integration between Dynamics and the core banking system, where the customer SIF number is generated, the customer's account number is generated and set up, and then if there are any other products or services requested by the customer, the system proceeds to automatically create opportunities for those products, and that's how the process would run in Dynamics. So it's an end-to-end corporate in-branch onboarding journey that's being managed inside Dynamics by the RMs. Now let's look at a demo scenario where there is a company called German Manufacturing Limited, and they are looking to establish a new relationship with VeriPark. And Archie Andrews is the company representative who contacts Martin Barros, one of the RMs working in the branch for VeriPark, who initiates a new corporate enrollment application for the company German Manufacturing Limited. And what you see in this journey is in terms of capturing applicant details, pulling the information about the company through integration, doing KYC, getting the product selection done, uploading the documents from the customer, and then onboarding and having the account open successfully. Let's move to the demonstration of the scenario. So I'm Martin Barrows. I'm the corporate RM. First thing I do when I walk into the office every morning, I have my dashboard in front of me. My corporate RM dashboard, a personalized dashboard that gives me visibility into all the activities that I'm currently having in my queue, my sales pipeline, next best actions that I need to take with respect to my client portfolio, and a listing of the entire client portfolio itself, who the clients are, and the financial relationship that we have with them at this point in time. Let's say a company representative walks into the branch and requests for establishing a new relationship. From my dashboard, I go ahead and open up a new corporate enrollment application directly inside Dynamics. The discussion starts, and I open up this application form, a corporate customer enrollment form that has the built-in workflows into it, and I start to capture the details of this enrollment. First up, capturing the information about the company. I can manually key in the company details, or I can enter the company registration number and basically fetch the details of the company through integration directly from, for example, Dun & Bradstreet, which houses all the company information. Through integration, the system would be able to pull in all the information about the company in terms of who the company is, who the individual shareholders are, the corporate shareholders, the board members, individual guarantors, corporate guarantors, and I have the ability as an RM to add additional details about the power of attorneys and authorized signatories, if any. Now, the capture part is done. I then start moving this application forward. Start capturing the trade license issue date of the company, the trade license expiry date of the company, and then move this application to the next or the second step in this application workflow. It proceeds with system check. Now, at this point, the system proceeds to go and do a variety of system checks on the application in terms of internal system checks, anti-money laundering, internal blacklist, domestic blacklist, credit bureau checks, and so on. And what we'll find as an RM is that in the system check results, you know if there is any record found. And if there is any, the system automatically tells you that it needs to get an approval before you're allowed to move forward. What you do is you have this button here on the application form where you say, okay, before I can move forward, let me send this for compliance approval. Now the system would automatically take this application and route it to the compliance officer's department's queue, and an SLA would start for them, who then have to review this application and give their approval if this application, onboarding application, can move forward. So let's switch the roles. If I'm the compliance officer, I have a personalized dashboard of my own. I walk into the office every morning, I log into Dynamics. First thing I do, I look at my dashboard. I have a listing of all the tasks and activities that are pending in my queue for compliance approval. I see there's just a new one that just come in for German manufacturing, and it has the due date on which I need to take a look at this application and take a decision on what to do with this application. I see I can open the application and I have the approval button here. I can enter remarks, okay to approve, for example, and I say I approve it. As a compliance officer, once I approve it, the RM is notified that there is this compliance officer who has approved this application, and now the RM can proceed with the next step in the application workflow. So at any given point in time, the RM exactly knows where this application is, for how long this application has been sitting in this particular step. So now I know that next step is client generation. So what I do is I've got the necessary approvals, the system check is passed, and I now proceed to the next step. The third step in the application workflow, the enrollment workflow, is the data entry, or the key detail capture of the information on the application. I make sure that all the information about the company, the regulatory information, the permanent address, the mailing address are captured on the application. I also have the ability to verify the individual shareholders, the corporate shareholders, the board members, the authorized signatories all look correct. And then I have the ability to initiate a new KYC. Because as a corporate customer, I go ahead and basically submit a new KYC application related to the enrollment form. This KYC has its own built-in business process flow where I need to make sure that I provide the necessary details before I can get the KYC approved. For example, what type of KYC it is. What is the KYC country? Which country am I doing this? This country might have multiple, this company might have multiple multi-country presence. So where exactly country am I doing this KYC for? What is the KYC for? Is it a head office or is it a branch? So basically go ahead and initiate the KYC approval process and then take it through an approval process where I involve the due diligence officer as part of the KYC assessment. I route it to the due diligence officer who's then going to receive this KYC form, do a calculate score function, where basically the system would come up with an existing rating model where the company rating is calculated for the due diligence officer to take a decision on the risk score result of this particular application. In this particular case, the KYC risk score is coming up at 85. The score level, the system is automated, identified as medium. The due diligence officer can say, okay, I keep it as medium, and then I'm going to approve this application to move forward, this KYC to move forward. Then it goes back to the RM who makes sure that he's got the due diligence officer approval. Now it's time for collecting the required documents from the customer. The documents collected, the RM can say, okay, I've got your documents. I've got my due diligence officer approval. I just need one more step in due diligence controller who's going to look at the assessment details of the company. And if everything looks okay in terms of risk score criteria, the risk score results, and all of that information on the KYC looks okay, the due diligence controller is going to say, approve it, and it goes back to the RM for his sign off on the KYC. So what has the RM done? He's basically going back to the corporate customer enrollment form. He's initiated a KYC for a particular branch, for a particular country, and got the necessary approvals from the due diligence officer, got the risk rating calculated of the application, and now he's good to move forward with the remainder of the onboarding process. The RM says, okay, let's move to the next stage where the customer is sitting in front of you and he wants to make some product selections and what kind of relationship the company is looking for from the bank. The RM moves to the product selection step and he tells them, okay, you want a business current account? Do you want any trade finance products from us? Let's say a letter of credit. Do you want any cash management services from us? Do you want any treasury services or any investment bank services? So multiple product selections are being done by the RM based on the customer's requirements. Now, once the product selection is done, the RM then moves to the next stage where the specific account details need to be captured. For example, since it's a business current account, what branch would you like to have this particular account opened in? What currency would you like to have this account particularly opened in, for example? So the RM proceeds to get ahead and fill in the details of the branch, the statement frequency, for example, title of account, purpose of account, and the account address details. So this is again data capture where the RM is making sure that the details are filled in properly on the account application. Next step is the document selection. The documents collection is where the system prompts the RM that for this kind of an application from this customer, you got to collect these mandatory documents before we allow you to proceed with your onboarding. So the customer can provide these documents and the RM can proceed with opening up one of the documents for which the document is being provided, using the scan document feature, and then uploading the document directly into the document management system from the CRM screen, from the dynamic screen. You go ahead and upload the document and then go back to the enrollment form. Now, this way, the RM is able to collect all the necessary documents, and then you have a step where now you need to get the OCASA approval from the department before you can proceed with the next step. So what does the RM do? Now the application has been automatically routed for obtaining the necessary CASA approval. Let's say the compliance officer, again, receiving a notification that there is an application waiting for providing the necessary CASA approval on the enrollment form. The compliance officer logs in from his dashboard. He's able to see that this task is for him, and then he should be able to approve it. And once he approves it, the RM is notified, and then he goes back into the application form and he notices that it has been CASA approved. So these are checks and balances built into the process to make sure that you're involving the right authority while you're processing this application for getting the necessary approvals during the life cycle of the application. Now the RM proceeds to say, okay, I've collected the documents, I've got the CASA approval, I want to move to the next stage and just go through a quick checklist. The checklist is like a prepared set of questions that the RM needs to make sure that he has answers for, that he addressed as part of the application. And once he is taken to make sure that all the details are correct, he can print out an application form. An account opening form can be printed directly from inside Dynamics on the application. And this, of course, can be used to support any kind of templates the bank needs. This account application form captures all the details filled in automatically from the reading from the application, and the customer can be asked to sign at the relevant places in the account application form. Once the customer signs and the necessary document is uploaded back into the application, the RM proceeds to say, okay, we've gone through all these steps in the application process where we have captured the details, we have done the systems checks, we've done internal and external system checks, we've done a KYC, we've done the product selection, we've captured the account specific details, we've captured the necessary documents, we've got the signatures obtained on the account application form, we've gone through the checklist, and now everything looks okay. This is the point where you need to involve the core banking system. So what the RM would do is go ahead and click on post. What this would do is this would integrate with the core banking system, flow this information from Dynamics into core banking, customer SIF number generated, the account number generated directly inside core banking, and now Dynamics is ready to welcome this customer with an account already created, and the customer can start using this account for transacting. And the CRM platform, the Dynamics platform, can be used by the bank in order to serve, solve, and serve customer all at the same time. So from an RM's perspective, the last step for him is just as he has posted this, he just goes to the next stage, which is a summary stage in the application form, where after the successful integration with core banking, he's able to see what is the SIF number of the customer, he's able to see the account number, the IBAN number, the customer individual SIFs for the different products that the customer selected in the individual backend systems, cash management, trade finance. The sales opportunity is automatically created for the additional products the customer specified on the application is automatically created and assigned to the relevant sales teams. So all in all, from the RM's perspective, he can mark this enrollment application as finished, and basically the customer is now readily onboarded, account created, and he can start transacting with the account. So what you saw here is an end-to-end onboarding journey that is performed by the branch agent, Martin Barrows, opening an enrollment opening an enrollment account for the customer based on the customer's requirements. In terms of the outcomes demonstrated, we basically looked at capturing the details, pulling the confirm information, being able to do the KYC, product selection being done, document upload, scanning, uploading, digital signatures, and integration with the core banking in order to have the account open. All of that being done from one single platform, Dynamics, for managing the corporate customer enrollment process.